What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Steve and this is Tech Teardown. Last week, Activision released their beta for the PC version of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, a game that I was very surprised I'm extremely hyped for. I haven't been hyped up for a Call of Duty game in quite some time now, probably since Modern Warfare 2. I did pre-order the game to get early access to the beta. You did not have to pre-order to get to the open beta, it just came a day later for you. In this video, I'm going to go over some benchmarks I have for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the beta, using this $150 gaming PC I built a few months ago on my channel. This one is built out of a Dell Optiplex that I upgraded, and this one has an i5 2400 with 8GB of Corsair DDR3 RAM, as well as an RX 560 4GB graphics card. And then just for fun, I'm also going to throw in some benchmarks with my $3,000 computer with a Ryzen 9 3900X, 2080 Ti, and 32GB of Corsair Dominator Platinum. And that system is water-cooled. The minimum specs for Call of Duty Modern Warfare include an i5 2500K, 8GB of RAM, 45GB of hard drive space. They also recommend a GTX 670 2GB, GTX 1050 2GB, or for the AMD side an HD 7950 graphics card, and something that is compatible with DirectX 12. For the recommended specs, they do recommend an i7 4770K, a GTX 970, a GTX 1060 6GB, an AMD Radeon R9 390, or an RX 580, and 16GB of memory. Obviously, for my high-end system I'm going to be benchmarking later, that does go well beyond the actual requirements of the game, and it does perform very significantly, which I tested that in 1440p. For this $150 gaming computer, I did test it at 1080p, and as you saw when I read off those minimum specs, this is a little bit below the minimum requirements where they wanted a 2500K. This is just an i5 2400 non-K CPU. Despite the processor being below the minimum system requirements, I was actually able to play the game over 60 FPS with not just low settings. As you're seeing on the screen here, I'm going through the settings that I do have at 1080p. Some are very low and low settings, but I was able to crank up some of them. The 1X anti-aliasing was definitely noticeable, as that was pretty jagged edges on the gun, and that was pretty noticeable. But for the most part, it looked great, probably better than you would get on an Xbox One or PlayStation 4. I'm gonna go ahead and switch over to the benchmarks. This is the Optiplex 990, again with the i5 2400, 8GB of RAM, and the RX 560 4GB graphics card. All right, so I benchmarked Modern Warfare two different ways. The ones you're going to see on screen are the ones I think are most relevant. So the first benchmark here, which had 38,000 frames rendered, was a full match of Call of Duty, which we had an average frame rate of 67.1 FPS, with the 1% lows of 41.2, and then the 0.1% were below 1. And the reason why I benchmarked it differently than this is because that 0.1% has a lot to do with the game going in and out of, like, when I died or something like that, it would go above to the map where you're selecting respawn and things like that. That was causing a lot of frame hiccups when it was doing that. So I went with a different approach for these benchmarks you're seeing on screen with the graphs. I only benchmarked the time I was alive. So this is only 2,000 frames rendered here, and our average FPS still at 67.6 frames per second to be exact, a 1% low of 50.2, and as you can see, that's 0.1%, much more significant at 44.0. So as you can see, despite the processor being slightly below the minimum system requirements, we were able to get 1080p gaming performance over 60 FPS with this cheap budget system. So Call of Duty seems to be a really well optimized game. Something I'm very excited for, Black Ops 4 Wasn't the most optimized game, and just not great in general. Call of Duty Modern Warfare has definitely been a big plus for me, something I'm, even after playing the beta, very excited that I've pre-ordered the game. I'm going to be able to play it day one because it's such an excellent game already with the beta. There were some bugs that definitely needed to work out, but it will still be a game I'll probably be playing a lot and be adding to my future benchmarks when I'm testing new systems. All right, now just for fun, let's go ahead and switch over to the benchmarks for my high-end gaming system with the 3900X from AMD, as well as the RTX 2080 Ti. All right, and again, like the last time here, I did benchmark the game two different ways, once with a full match and once with just one life. And here, looking at a full match with 35,000 frames rendered, we have an average FPS of 130.6 and a 1% low of 2.3, 0.1% lows of 2.2. So the 1% lows definitely hit my high-end system much harder. But now let's look at the actual chart numbers here, where I benchmarked just one life. That was with slightly over 3,000 frames rendered, and we have an average FPS of 132.9, 1% lows of 104.9, and 0.1% low 96.4 FPS. With my high-end gaming system, that one was tested with 1440p rather than the 1080p that I tested with this low-end gaming system. I did not test 1080p on my high-end system. The reason for this video had a couple reasons. Just wanted to test to see how the game performed on a low-end system like this. I like to reuse some of the systems I've built in the past as much as I can, and I have to say I'm pretty impressed with how well optimized the game is. I'm impressed with the game overall. It's very fun. First time in so many years that I've enjoyed a Call of Duty game to its fullest. All the maps were just really well designed. Great just overall gameplay for a Call of Duty game now here in 2019. So sound off down in the comments, guys. Are you excited for the new Call of Duty game? Let me know down in the comments. Is this a game that you're looking forward to see me benchmark more in the future when the game is released? I want to hear from you. If you have any problems with the way I benchmark the game, let me know also down in the comments. But if you're new here, please consider subscribing. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you didn't like it, let me know down in the comments what you didn't like about it. That'll help me make better videos in the future. And I think that's going to wrap up this video, guys. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.